Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim and our topic today is the Eska Amphibian 250 dive watch. I came across this brand via a viewer of the channel. His name is Mike and he wrote me an email and asked me if I know anything about the French brand Eska. And I've heard the term before or the name before, but I wasn't without any experience whatsoever. But I was curious then because Mike is a snorkel boat captain from the United States, from the Virgin Islands to be precise. And I know for a fact that he uses his watches really in the Caribbean Sea, in the water. In fact, he bought a watch roll from my shop casebackwatches.com and he took the time to make a nice images, the watch roll filled with his watches. And this is of course great because people realize then that these reviews in the shop are real, which they are in fact. And so Mike sent me some images and then we had a chat here and there. And again, he said, why don't you check out Eska? Because I see here great value. I've bought one of their watches. I use them. It's a great piece. And there are not so many reviews out there. And so I thought, whoa, that's a great idea. This is really a good recommendation by somebody who knows his dive watches. And so I got in contact with Eska from France. And basically I told them what I tell every manufacturer, please send me a watch. I don't expect any form of payment. I will return the watch unharmed after 1 week, and in exchange I tell my audience basically what I want. I mean, I put it more politely. I say something like I share my honest opinion with the viewers, but that's exactly the program here now. Eska is a historic brand. It was founded in 1918 in Switzerland, and in 1959 they came up with their, let's say, first famous, or let's say signature model, and that was the Amphibian 600. So we had a very tough skin diver with a water resistance of 600 meters, and there you already could see these elements which made Eska back then famous. So these bold numerals and overall a design that really stands out. And the company went out of business in 1987 due to the quartz crisis, like many of these historic brands, and was then revived by a Kickstarter campaign and by two gentlemen from France in 2024. So they bought the brand name and they revived this famous model, the 250, with this look back then from the late 50s, early 60s. And since then, Eska is a French brand and the watches are assembled in France. And important to know is that they have several models here. They have the white shark you see here on the wrist with that great leather bracelet. It's heavily inspired by 60s, 70s. So this is the black shark, but they have also a white version. They call it the white shark and a limited edition. And normally these watches come with a leather bracelet and a tropical rubber. I have the leather and a nylon, but I will show you everything right now in the lightbox. Okay, and here we are with the Eska Amphibian 250 Black Shark, and I think you can see at first glance what I mean when I say that this watch comes with a ton of character. It's very hard to confuse it with another brand or another model. It really stands out. But okay, let's go over the basic specifications now. We have here a watch with a case diameter of 40 millimeters, a length, a lug to lug of 46, height is 13.5 including the crystal, and the lug width here is 20. We have a sapphire crystal with anti-reflective coating. We have a screw-down crown and a 120-click unidirectional bezel with a sapphire insert. And the watch is waterproof up to 250 meters, therefore the name. Inside we have the good old Cylinder SW200 automatic Swiss-made caliber with a power reserve of 38 hours, pretty much a high-quality staple. And the watch here came on this leather bracelet, more of that later, leather bracelet together with an additional nylon strap, and the price here is 1,090 euros including VAT, so you have to deduct your 19%, then you can convert it into US dollars and then you end up with something like, I think, 900 US dollars. So this is the price for this watch. Okay, let's dive into the dial. We can see a ton of details because we have a nice anti-reflective coating here on the watch, and you see that there is sort of a sandwich dial. meaning that you have two layers, and this creates a bit more depth. This creates a bit more of a 3D effect. So this fairly complex style. But I think the main attraction is, of course, that you see these massive numerals, loomed numerals, and this is, of course, taken from the original, and this gives the watch its character, gives the watch its unique face, really. And of course, it's legible as hell. You have loom from hell, as you see here on this loom shot. And so overall, very legible with ton of character, and yeah, really stands out, this design. Very, very nice. The bezel here is a bit of a standard, I would say. So we have a nice triangle, we have these numerals here, or these numbers, but you can get this from other watches as well. Worth mentioning is that the bezel now is relatively large, relatively wide, which brings a nice correspondence to the large numerals. Would look odd when you have these large numerals and then a very fine and delicate bezel. Here you have something really that also stands out, that adds to the functionality and the legibility of the watch. The case is a bit Yima-esque, not a copy. I mean, it happens to be that both companies come from France, excuse me, and they refer to the same time, the same period of time, to the same genre, and so you have this interesting looking case with high polished sides and brushed lugs. The case back is not really exciting, there is just the Eska. It's hard to film now. And of course you have this leather bracelet, which offers a very distinctive look and is also nicely situated in the 60s, 50s to 60s. There you find these bracelets, so I'm very happy that they delivered this together with this watch. Very interesting looking ensemble. Okay, but now let's check out the functionality. As said, we have a unidirectional bezel with 120 clicks, and it's very stiff. People could mark this as a plus. For me, it's a bit too stiff, to be honest. I doubt that you can operate this so easily underwater, but this is speculation. I didn't test that, but just, yeah, it's a bit stiff, but all right. Not sure if you can mark this really as a minus. The precision is absolutely there. So it's very easy to align it, and yeah, everything good. Then we have a very vintagey crown without crown guards and with a typical form we know from old dive watches. Works fine, no problem at all, no problem at all. And now you can hand wind the cylinder caliber, and then you have position 1. You need a bit of force, you really feel there's a solid rubber sealing inside. Very nice. And here, brilliant connection between hands and crown. This is really fun to do. And again, legible as hell, these large hands here with the loom. So this is a very nice feeling. Very, very nice, really. Let's close it again. And here's nothing scratchy. You need a bit of force, but there's nothing scratchy, nothing flimsy. It just feels really, really good. Now to the bracelet. We have to face the fact that this is a, yeah, as said, end 50s, 60s bracelet, and to be honest, the quality here is not the quality of a modern bracelet. It feels very flimsy, it feels very Seiko-esque, if you know what I mean, and so it feels very original. You could see this as a positive, that you have the, yeah, sort of the original friction clasp here. But I know for a fact that many people will complain about it because we're used to, yeah, see high-end machinery on our watches, and this gives you the feeling of the 70s and 60s, and it does the job, don't get me wrong. You can wear it that way and without any form of problem, but it doesn't feel like a super high-end bracelet. And I think you can hear it. This is very thin metal. You have a bit of readily stretch here, but I would say well in normal tolerances here. So not really a problem, but I wouldn't pay several hundreds of euros for that bracelet. And the watch is more versatile than you might think. I mean, this is my go-to combination. It would be with that bracelet because I have no problem with a, let's say, basic functionality. I just love the look, and it's relatively lightweight. This is a benefit here. It's a relatively lightweight bracelet, and so you have you add a bit more of a comfortable wearing experience to the ensemble. But of course you can go now with this textile strap, with this thing, and it's a bit of a neutral look, right? Makes the watch head pop a bit more because you add a bit of contrast here, and so this looks pretty neat. But to my surprise, it looks also very good on leather. Here you have the Caseback #1 strap, dark leather, and it really adds a very nice quality to it. So it's absolutely not a problem to put that watch on a leather strap, and then you can dress it up a bit. And there you go, 40mm watch on my 17cm wrist, so on the smaller side. And there you see the bracelet. You see the typical thing I had also with Yima watches, that you have a bit of a gap here because the lugs are relatively high on the case. See that? So if you have a small wrist, then you will experience a little gap here. And I don't know if you find this great or not. I think here you can tolerate it. Absolutely, not really a problem. I've seen it worse with other watches, but here it's okay. But I just want to mention it. When you have a 18cm wrist, this is not a problem at all. When you have 17cm, you should realize that there is a bit of a gap, bottom line. But yeah, you can tolerate it here with ease, I think. And you can see the sheer presence of the thing. I mean, this is really stands out. Keyword out. Let's go out. Let's check it out under broad daylight now. Alright, that was the review. If you have more questions, don't hesitate to put them in the comments. And Mike, thank you very much, my friend, for this hint. This was a very enjoyable task to get in contact with Eska. Eska, thanks a lot for sending the watch in. This was really a pleasure to do. And dear viewer, in case you enjoy these independent reviews, then please visit CasebackWatches.com. That's the online shop that keeps your everything independent and afloat. There Mike bought his watch roll. Great product, really bang per buck. And you have a very special item there as well, especially for metal bracelets. So if you are a bit like Mike and you like your watches on metal bracelet, then you can, of course, purchase this large watch roll, but there's also something very neat, very affordable, high quality, especially made for watches on metal bracelets. Check it out, link in the description. And that's all for this episode. Thank you very much for your attention, and until next time.